Hi, I'm Vicky Brant with Around the Region. We're here in Winfield Township at the beautiful new Jerry Ross Elementary School. Hi, I'm with Colonel Jerry Ross. Tell me, what thoughts are going through your mind right now?
An incredibly great day for me. I'm very honored to have a school named for me. I've always tried to preach to kids that it's important to get a good education and set goals for your life and work hard to achieve them. And I've talked to a lot of school kids about that. Some of them have heard it and done some great things with their lives.
Absolutely. Could you give our viewers a little background of your life as an astronaut?
Well, I've been very fortunate to have been an astronaut since 1980. I was the first person ever to have the opportunity to fly in space 7 times. I currently hold the U.S. space record for the number of spacewalks and the number of hours outside on spacewalks, over 58 hours outside.
What's it feel like to have a school named after you?
It's something that I could have never dreamed about or even thought about because it's beyond the realm of anything that you would expect in life. Very honored, especially still to be alive to have the honor while you're still alive.
Absolutely. Now, could you tell us where you live now?
I live down in the Houston, Texas area, down by the Johnson Space Center.
That's wonderful. Now, tell me a little bit about your education. What is your education like?
I went to school here in the Center Township Schools and then Crown Point High School, junior high, and graduated in 1966, went to Purdue University. I have a bachelor's and master's in mechanical engineering from Purdue, and then various different professional educational opportunities in the Air Force, including test pilot school as a flight test engineer.
When you were a little boy, did you know you wanted to be an astronaut?
Well, astronauts hadn't been invented when I was a little boy. So in the 4th grade was when the first satellites were launched into space. And I'd been making scrapbooks about flying in space and rockets and satellites even before that had happened. So in the 4th grade, I decided I was going to go to Purdue, become an engineer, and get in our country's space program. And I was a fairly one-track kind of kid, so I did what I was hoping to be able to do.
Tell me what it's like floating or walking in space.
It's the most incredible experience you can ever imagine. It's better than you can think it is. I dreamed about it, doing it myself for years. I'd helped many of my friends do it. I'd talk to them from Mission Control as a Capcom while they were doing it. And yet when I got out there the first time myself, it was far better than I could have ever hoped.
Could you tell me what lessons have been learned from the 2 space shuttle disasters? What's learned from that?
Well, we learned what happened in the first one, and we fixed it, and we flew successfully for 17 years. Unfortunately, another accident occurred, and we're trying to learn from that. One thing that we know is that flying in space is hazardous, and it's very difficult to do. We sometimes make it look a little bit too easy with our success, but when we fail, as they're very spectacular because they're very tragic also.
Now, what are you doing with your life now, Jerry Ross?
I'm still working as an active astronaut. I have about 20 engineers that are working for me. We're providing direct engineering support to other astronauts that are getting ready to fly in space and keeping pretty busy. I'm doing a lot of talking, going out and talking to the public right now, and enjoying life otherwise with my family.
Good for you. Could you tell me a little bit about your family? Anybody following in your footsteps?
My daughter would love to. She has 2 engineering degrees from Purdue in mechanical engineering and works down at the Johnson Space Center designing spacesuits, and in fact she helped to design the gloves I wore in my last 5 spacewalks. But she hasn't been selected as an astronaut yet, and we'll just have to see how it goes, but she would love to be.
Jerry, could you give our children some advice about achieving your dreams?
Definitely, and that's one of the things I always try to talk to young people about. Young people sometimes think that they can't dream about lofty goals in life and achieve them, but I try to be an example for them. I was a kid that grew up in central Lake County here. I came from a middle income family, and I studied hard in school. I wasn't a straight A student, but I set some goals for myself, and I studied hard and worked hard to try to achieve them. And I was single-minded in purpose. I kept focused on what I wanted to do. I worked hard. I went to Purdue as I had set my goals to do, to become an engineer, and then get into the Air Force, where I continued to try to work closer and closer to getting involved in our country's space program. And when opportunities presented themselves, I tried to be prepared to take advantage of them. I applied for the astronaut program for the first time in 1977. I was real lucky to be one of 210 that were selected to be interviewed out of over 10,000 people that applied, but I wasn't selected. But I didn't give up. I tried again, and on a subsequent selection, I was fortunate enough to be one of 19 selected that time. So set goals for yourself, study hard, work hard, be prepared for opportunities when they present themselves, and don't give up too easily.
And keep dreaming. Have you thought about writing a book?
People have asked me about writing a book. I've actually written a couple of books, but it's on family genealogy, and I'm working on 2 for my wife's side right now. But someday I might write a book about what it was like to go fly in space. Yeah.
I think you should, about your dreams and how people could achieve their goals. That would be a wonderful motivational thing for so many people.
There are 3 records that I hold right now. The first of which is co-shared with one of my classmates in the astronaut office. I was the first person to fly into space 7 times from here on the surface of the Earth. One of my classmates, as I said, has captured that co-title now. I also hold the U.S. record for the number of spacewalks at 9 and the number of hours outside at 58 hours and 18 minutes.
Amazing. A little boy from Crown Point, Indiana. Amazing. I'm with Mrs. Phyllis Ross. Could you tell me the secret to raising such a successful son?
I don't know that there's any secret. We just did it like everybody else raises their kids. He's a pretty normal kid.
How did you feel every time he went into space?
Numb. Yeah, we just kind of prayed a lot and hoped a lot and wished for the best results. And he did real well. He was very fortunate. 7 times, and every time was a good flight.
Were you home when he flew, or were you down in Houston?
5 of the times I was in Florida, where they launched from, and 2 times I stayed home.
Tell me, what kind of a little boy was Jerry?
A very typical little boy. Kind of ornery sometimes and very good other times. When he was in 4th grade, he had a teacher, Mrs. Laney, who inspired the kids to do their best. That was always her pitch, do the best you can. And he decided in 4th grade he was interested in the space program, not necessarily as an astronaut, but to get in and as an engineer. And he, from 4th grade on, he that was his focus.
It was nice to meet you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hi, I'm Vicky Brant with Around the Region. I'm here at this beautiful new school, the Jerry Ross Elementary School, and I'm here with the principal, Jennifer Lindsley Johansson. Tell me, what was it like to meet Jerry Ross today?
It was such a build-up for so many months. I've been looking forward to this day since I was announced as principal in January of this year, and it was every bit as exciting and fulfilling as I expected it to be. It was really amazing to meet him.
Good for you. You did a wonderful speech. Tell me a little bit about this new school.
Well, this new school, one of the things that's most unique is that it's a 4, 5, and 6 grade configuration. Normal elementary schools are K through 6, but we're focusing on an intermediate school, 4, 5, and 6. And as Jerry said in his speech, 4th grade is when many students start to solidify their dreams and their goals. And I think it's very exciting to be a part of that growth. And there's such a tremendous amount of brain growth at that time as well. And I think this is a time to nurture their interests and help them fulfill their dreams.
Absolutely. Tell me a little bit about your background, Jennifer.
Well, I am from Crown Point originally, went to Crown Point High School, and I went to Butler University for English education. I taught at Maryville High School for 5 years as an English teacher. Was working on my principal's license all that time. Was hired at Crown Point High School 3 years ago as an assistant principal, which was quite odd because that's where I went to high school, and I had to be the assistant principal for many of the teachers that I had. And that was for about 3 years. And then this opportunity became available of this new school. It's not anything that I ever thought I would be doing in an elementary school, but since I had 2 small children, I have a 10-year-old Patrick, a 2-year-old Jacob, it was a great time to make the move into elementary education, to maybe be at home with them more in the evening, but also since I was so in tune with my 5th grader, it was a great time to make the transition, and I've loved every minute of it.
Good for you. Could you tell me a little bit of the amenities here at the Jerry Ross School?
This school is so amazing. We have such terrific technology. We have over 70 TV sets that are mounted throughout the school that also have capacity to have computers plugged into them for PowerPoint presentations. Every TV monitor has a DVD and a VCR hooked up with it. We've got two very large, like huge screens that come down, one in the cafeteria and one in the large instruction room, and those are projection unit screens. Sound systems are state-of-the-art. Instead of having computer labs, we will have mobile labs that will have laptops on carts that will go to the children instead of the children going to the computers. So I can actually visualize students sitting in the hallway, sitting on steps with their computers with the wireless signals. It's really exciting.
Jennifer, can you describe a very successful educational program?
I think any educational program that provides for growth for all students. I think that's essential. Instead of focusing on bringing the bottom kids up, I think you have to focus on diagnosing where every child is and helping each child be challenged and grow. That's the differentiation of instruction, and we're working very hard here at Jerry Ross Elementary because you do have children at varying levels in every class, and we want to rise everyone up, not just the low, not just the high, not just the middle. We want everyone to excel.
Absolutely, that's great. It was very nice to meet you, and thank you for the interview.
Thank you for your time.
We'll be back with more of Around the Region.